Let's take a look at creating and formatting sections. A section is like a page break, but instead of being a physical break, it's a logical break. For instance, if you set up several sections in your document, you could pick one section and change just the margins for that section, or you could change the orientation from portrait to landscape just for that section. This can cause all kinds of troubles if you don't understand what sections are and how to deal with them. For instance, if I were to come out here and select some headings along with some text out here, and I'll just go ahead and select this guy right here, I could come out to my page layout and I could choose columns and make this a 2-column document. And it takes that portion of the document and just turns it into a 2-column document. And if you look closely, you can see that by doing this, Word has automatically added section breaks out here. I can see one right up here, and I can see one down here. Also, if I come out and click on the first page, and I look in the lower left corner, I see I'm on section 1. If I click out here in the middle of this guy, I see I'm on section 2, and if I click after the section break here, I can see I'm now on, like down here, I'm on section 3. So we have 3 sections in the documents, and that took place just from adding these 2 columns. Now if I came out, clicked in the middle of these columns, decided I didn't want these columns anymore, come back up to columns and choose 1 column, it turns the whole document back into a 1-column document. And I appear that I'm just back the way I was when I started, but my section breaks are still living out here, and this can cause me all kinds of problems. For instance, if I were to click in the middle of this document and then come out and change the margins, I would go ahead and bring in the right margin, bring in the left margin, and I change the margins just for this section. The other portions of the document, the other sections, don't have the margins changed. Also, I could click out here and maybe turn this into landscape mode. If I were to come out and go to orientation and choose landscape, it changes everything in this section to landscape mode, but the others remain in portrait mode. So this can cause you all kinds of troubles if you don't realize that these sections are in here. Now to remove the sections, I just want to make sure that I'm showing my hidden characters here, and I can come out and just select that paragraph with the section, come out here and find the other section break and take it out as well. And it looks like it lives right out here, 6, and I'll go ahead and delete that. And now I'm basically back to normal. I click up here inside the first page, I see I'm on section 1, and if I do, I control N to move to the end of the document. I'm still on section 1 here, so there's only one section in the document. Let's take a look at how to insert section breaks. I can see that I have manual page breaks out here already. Someone has just come through here and did like a control enter to pop in some manual page breaks. I'm going to take these out. You could just select these with your mouse and delete these guys out of here. What I can do as well is just come out here and insert my own next page break. So I'll click right here, this point right above my table of contents, and I'm going to come up to my page layout tab, and under breaks I'm going to go ahead and choose next page section break here, and it pops in a section break and starts my table of contents on another page. I'm going to come out here to this page break at the bottom of page 2, press delete, and then right here as well I'm going to go ahead and choose in next page section break, and basically I'm back the way I was before, but now I have 3 sections in the document, one here, that's section 2, and then also down here I see that I'm on section 3. Let's adjust the margins for a given section. If I come out here to my first page, I take a look at the ruler up here at the top. I can see that I have indents and I have margins. If I put my pointer right on the left margin here and hold down my Alt key, then my mouse, I can see I have a 1 1/4 inch margin on the left. Over here on the right, same thing. Hold down my Alt key, click, I have a 1 1/4 inch margin. If I come out here to the left ruler, click, hold down my Alt key, I see I have a 1 inch margin on the top. Now this is going to apply over here as well. I've got the same thing going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here and change this up. Now if you want to change your margins, you need to go to page layout, page setup. To do this, simple way to get there is just to go to a dark spot on your ruler and double click, and it brings up the page setup box. I'm in my second section here. I'm going to go ahead and set up my top margin to be 2 inches, and I'll set my left and right margins at 1 inch. Now Down here at the bottom, you can see that this applies to this section, which happens to be section 3. If I wanted to, I could apply it to the whole document, and then all the sections would pick it up. But by default, it's just going to work on this section. So when I click OK, I can see the margins have changed just for this section. I look at the ruler, and I can see over here on the left, it's hold down the Alt key, it's been set up at 2 inches, and I look up here at the top, and I can see that the right margin is 1 inch, and the top margin, if I can just get it there, has been set up at 1 inch as well, holding down the Alt key when I click on that guy. So we've applied the margins just to this section only. Now my first section of the document is just out here on page 1. I set up the second section over here just at the table of contents here. You can see the section break starts here at the bottom of page 1 and ends at the bottom of page 2 here. So this is section 2, and everything below here is going to be section 3. So if I come down to page 3 and click inside of here and I look down in the lower left corner, I'm on section 3. Now I want to come out here and take a look at the headers and footers out here, and if I just come out here to get to the header and footer, I'm going to go in the header area and just double click, and it takes me into the header portion of the document. If I double click on the main document here, it takes me out. If I go down here to the bottom and double click in this empty margin area, it takes me to the footer section as well. So I'm going to come back up here and just move into my header section, and I can see that I'm on header section 3, and I can see that this is set up to be same as the previous section. Also up here, this is set up to be same as the previous section. All of these are set up that way. So that means anytime I come out here and put in a header, it will follow the same as the previous section. So if I come out to page 1 here and set up a header, each section would go ahead and pick that up, but I want to have a separate header and a footer for the sections I'm working on. Now what I'm shooting for here is I like to have a header start on this page, but I don't want to have headers on my first or second page of my table of contents, just my third page here. So out here I'm going to go ahead and start by typing in a header, and I'll go ahead and put in some text. And I see I've just typed in Spice History. Since I'm in the header footer section, I get a contextual sensitive tab here at the top for headers and footers, and on the only tab here for design of that, I see that under navigation I've got this thing called link to previous. Now that means that this guy is going to link up with everything above it, but I don't want that, so I'm just going to click on this button to unlink these, and now it will no longer follow the previous section. If I want to move to the previous section header, I can come up and choose previous up here at the top. This takes me up. I have Spice History up here at the top. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this guy and just press delete, and it takes them both out. Alright, so I see my header down here on page 2, but it's not on the previous pages here. Next I'd like to come down, add another section, change up the header one more time. Currently we're just in the history of spices, so if I move down here and I get into the spice description area, I can see I'm still on section 3 here. So I'm going to come out here and insert a new section break. I'll click right out here to the beginning of the word bay leaf here where we start the descriptions, and I'm going to come up to page layout and choose breaks, next page, and that pops in a next page break down here. And if I come out and double click on the header, I can see now that I'm in section 4 here and section 3 here. While I'm sitting out here in section 4, I'm going to come up and say linked previous. I'm going to turn that off. So now I have section 3 here, section 4 here. I can come up and type in a whole new header that if I'd like. And I'll type in spice descriptions, and when I double click, I've got a separate header for each one of these guys out here. Do this one more time. I'll come down. I've got spice descriptions. I'll keep moving, spice descriptions. Eventually we're going to get down here to where we end up with some recipes. So right where we start the recipes here, I'm going to go ahead and insert a new section break. So I'm going to come out here just to the left of the first heading here for the recipes area, and I'm going to go ahead and come up here and insert page layout, a new next page break, and that next page break shows up above. And when I come out here and double click on the header, I can see now I'm on section 5. This was section 4 previously, but now I've created a new section, so I'm on section 5. I will come out here, same as previous. I'm going to link to take that out, and I'm going to come out here and just call this recipes. So now I've got different headers for my different sections. You could do the exact same thing for the footers as well if you'd like. Let's continue on with this. I'd like to put some page numbers down here at the bottom of all of my pages. And to do this, it doesn't matter where I am. I can just come up to the Insert menu, and over here I can choose Page Number, and I'll choose bottom of the page, and I'll just choose this page number 2, and it comes out here, and it got 17 pages out here, and it just puts a page number down here at the bottom. If I go all the way back up to the top, I'll double click on my document and do a Control Home. I can see that I've got my page numbers starting out here on the cover page and also the table of contents. I really don't want to have them out there, so what I'm going to do is just come down here to my third page where I'd like these things to start. I'm going to go ahead and double click the footer to go into the footer, and I think I'll type in the word page just so you can see it. And you can see this is linked to the same as the previous. Well, you know what we're going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this guy and unlink to the previous. So now these guys are on their own, the first 2 pages, and I'm just going to highlight the text out here and press delete to take that guy out of there. And you can see I've got my page numbers starting out here at the bottom, but I don't have them up on the first and the second page. Life looks good, and I think I'm done with this lesson.